Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis, and this is another edition of No Capes, where I talk about the books that either Ethan doesn't read or that he doesn't review with me. Most of the time that means that it's more than likely not a superhero comic. Once again, I'm down in my basement where the lighting's not quite as great as it is outside, but the state of Washington continues to be on fire, and so there's so much smoke outside that it's relatively miserable to be outside. Anyway, so let's talk comics. First off, we're going to talk about The Massive. This is issue number 4, part 1 of The Black Pacific. We have an artist changed on this. Now Gary Brown is the ongoing artist. Same writer, Brian Wood, and Dave Stewart is still doing colors, so the colors still have that same motif that they've had all the way through it. I'm still enjoying this book. It's a very wordy's not the right word, because it's not like there's lots of words. I mean, there are parts of it, but it's a very read it kind of a comic. It feels like I read a lot more when I'm reading this thing than your standard superhero 4-color comic, and I actually kind of enjoy that. The book feels knowledgeable. In this issue, our main character, the captain of the Capitol, Cal here, it goes to Mogadishu to try and get fuel and water and stuff like that for his ship, the Capitol, as they continue their quest to try and find the Massive. He strikes a deal with basically one of the warlords, because that's who pretty much controls the place and whatnot, but they still don't have water. They don't get water, they get fuel and whatnot. There's an interesting stance in here on Cal, who is a pacifist. He maintains being a pacifist to this. He runs into some of his old mercenary buddies. They challenge him. He finds a somewhat interesting way to get out of that challenge and goes on his way. Looks like next issue we might get introduced to some new characters. Somebody that the second mate and the third mate refer to as the American, and there's some implications along with that, the American. So that'll be interesting. Sounds like they're going to head down to Antarctica to maybe get water. That's where they're going to get their water from. I'd be curious to see Antarctica, how much of Antarctica is left with the whole global disaster and whatnot. Of course, there's a lot more in here about the global disaster, how it's affecting stuff and whatnot. I'm going to keep picking this up in singles. I enjoy the comic. I think it's interesting. It probably would make a really good trade also, but bear in mind, if you're going to wait for trades, that the back matter, you're not going to get any of that. You're not going to get any of the extra information on on their organization, what the government thinks of their organization, and all that sort of stuff, which I think adds to it. I mean, I find all that stuff interesting and whatnot. I know that this isn't a cup of tea for everybody, but I'm still enjoying it. I mean, it's not like rocking my socks off, but it's interesting. It's interesting enough for me to keep reading it. Anyway, next I'm going to talk about The Creep. This is issue number 1. Last month, issue 0 came out. Issue 0 was a gathering up of all of the little shorts that were in the last 3 or 4 Dark Horse Presents. So I didn't pick up issue 0, so I didn't really talk about issue 0. This has got a great cover by Mike Mignola. Did the cover here. That's a beautiful cover. That's our main character. He doesn't do the art inside. Jonathan Case does the art inside, which works for this book. It is about this detective, this main character here. He is a detective, a private eye. He has a disorder. I'm drawing a blank of what the name of the disorder is right now. His facial bones and head continue to grow, and so he's got a deformed face and whatnot. I can't remember what that disorder is called. So there's that aspect of this about him having that disorder that makes it somewhat interesting. He has been called up by an old college friend, a woman, whose child has committed suicide. And the child committed suicide after his best friend had committed suicide. And she is called up and basically begged him to investigate the suicide because she thinks it's fishy. And so he is exploring everything about this kid to see if there's something more to the suicide than what the police told her. There's some other interesting characters in here. The grandfather of the child, who used to spend lots and lots of time with the kid. Once the kid committed suicide, he basically went crazy. He's a homeless guy that has all kinds of crazy visions and whatnot. He is in this. There is the woman the mother of the best friend that committed suicide first. She's a recurring character, it seems to be in this. And then, of course, there's his issues with his disorder. I like the comic. It's interesting. It's a, you know, it's telling kind of a mystery drama kind of thing. The stuff he's discovered so far and what it feels like's coming, what's going to be potentially the reveal in this book, I'm hoping it's not what it seems to be, because it seems obvious to me. I don't know if it'd be obvious to everybody, but it seems obvious to me, and I'm not going to talk about it because this is a relatively current book if people are interested in picking it up. I haven't heard anybody else talking about it. I like it. Like I said, it's interesting. It's not wowing my socks off either, but I'm enjoying it so far. I like the little shorts that were in the DC Presents, so I'm going to pick it up. I don't want to talk, like I said, I don't want to talk too much about the plot right now. When issue 2 comes out, I'll probably talk about plot and stuff like that more, because either people will be on the book or they're not on the book as far as that goes. But it's interesting. It's a set in the modern times. It's not a crime noir. It's just this guy trying to explore what happened to this kid and all the emotions that run through the people who are around a suicide and to take them or not. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I don't know if this is a mini-series or if this is a ongoing. It doesn't say one of a number, so maybe it's an ongoing. So yeah, I like it so far. It's interesting, a little bit different. Okay, lastly, I am going to talk about creator-owned heroes. This is issue 4. I didn't talk about issue 3, I don't think. Issue 4, 2 stories in here are Trigger Girl 6 and American Muscle. Let's talk about Trigger Girl 6 first. This is the end of both of these storylines, by the way. Jimmy Pavlotti and Justin Gray writing it, and Phil Noto doing the artwork on it. This has been kind of an interesting story about some woman who's been created, Trigger Girl 6, who's been created to assassinate the President of the United States, set in this near future kind of a world. The big reveal in this, yeah, do I spoil it? No, I won't spoil it. Anyway, it's a surprise, but it's almost like a, okay, yeah, so, and there's, I mean, it wasn't a bad story, but the people who are behind Trigger Girl 6 and who made it, it's like, you know, it feels to me like they did what they did just to make it some sort of a huge kind of a shock, or oh, I didn't see that coming. And I didn't see it coming, but after the initial, oh, I didn't see that coming, it's like, okay, that's kind of a cute idea, but so? It ends kind of on a so note for me, I guess. It's okay. The other story that's in this, American Muscle, that story got kind of goofy. I initially liked it, kind of a post-apocalyptic kind of a world. Yeah, we may see more stories down the road about this group of people. You know, it was okay. It had kind of a sappy ending to it. You know, they're looking for a home, a place to live, and they discover home is where they are, wherever they're traveling to. They're with their friends, that's home. Yeah, okay, whatever. Not my cup of tea. This format as it's on its own, there's lots of interviews in here and little tidbits and stuff like that. All those things are interesting and whatnot. I don't think any of these particular things in and of themselves are floating around on the internet, but but a lot of stuff like it is. So I don't know that this is really providing me anything, any exclusive, anything that's so interesting that would incline me to continue to pick up this book as far as that goes. I like the anthology idea of it. I like the fact that it's a thicker book. It's got more stuff in it. Trying to remember what the price is on the thing. It's a $4 book. It's $3.99, but you get 2 stories in it. So I mean that's a good deal as far as that goes. I don't know though. I don't think I'm going to pick up. I don't have it on my poll. I took it off my poll now after this issue. There are some issues coming up that sound like they might be interesting. So I think it's one of those things that I might go to the local chain store that sells some books. They do sell some Image books. And maybe I'll pick up individual issues as it sounds like they might interest me, as opposed to just having it on my poll all the time. Because I feel like, I don't know, I'm trying to decide, are those interviews and stuff that are in here, is that where some of my money is going to? Because if it is, it's not really what I want to spend my money at. But if my money's just going to the stories and that stuff is extra, I don't mind it as extra. I mean, it's not like I don't read it. It just isn't providing me anything that is that earth-shattering or necessary for me to have. You know, if they could, you know, if there's still more story, that would be cooler for me. But I'm already getting 2 stories, so that's me being greedy, I guess. So, yeah, it was okay, but not stellar. I mean, the Trigger Girl 6 story, it's got a fun ending, I guess. I can't really talk about it without wrecking it, so I don't really want to PM me if you want to know the details behind that if you're not interested in actually picking it up yourself, and I'll let you know what the deal is with that. But, yeah, it was okay. It was okay. Well, that's it. This was kind of a short this half of the month as far as No Capes books go. I get more comics in a couple days. That'll have more of the No Cape stuff in it for me to talk about. I still just enjoy the large swath of different types of books that are out there. Nothing better than reading comic books that aren't just 4-color superheroes. Anyway, that's it. Have a good one, and I'll see you later on down the road.